Welcome in. It's week one of Salty Spittoons TV. You got your commish and your co-commish. Say what's up, co-commish.
What's up, people? Happy to be back another year.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I know we had a little hiatus, a little mental health recovery break, especially from our teams getting whooped, not making it, not being chipped champs, unfortunately. Ah, all right, but we'll just start it off. It's going to be a little different this year. We're going to be kind of experimenting here. A couple things that you're going to see are kind of similar to last year, but we're briefly going to touch on them. Guys, we need some power ranks. Free real estate here. Either the Poppy, the Drunk Rick ranks, whatever y'all need. Everything's encouraged. Please submit anything that you guys want. More
Or
than
new
welcome to, or
or newcomers. If somebody else wants to
newcomers, yeah,
try their
more than
hat,
welcome.
feel free.
Yeah, briefly touching on power rankings. For me, on my end, I got Tex-Mex on it at one, Rookie, Lil Chubb, Cool Little Cool Kid, and Jay Moley. Um, Not really gonna go in depth on them, but just wanted you guys to see what we thought our teams were at. Thanks, Kokamish, to putting that jinx on my team because everybody knows number one teams don't finish number one. So
All I'm
appreciate that.
saying is, cool kid at 5 on his own rankings. It's fake. It's fake news.
Fake news. All right, moving on. We're going to matchups and pick'ems. I'm gonna start it off with Tony's team and Savage Jazz team. They're facing off this week. So far, we got both of them being 0-1. One of them's getting their first W this week, and I have Tony taking it this week. Why? I think Jordan Love's gonna struggle against Washington. I think Kyler Murray is going to go off against Carolina. That defense was non-existent. I don't believe in Tyreek Hill, and that's where I'm at. I also, in terms of flex positions, I love Justin Fields. I think he has so much upside compared to Trevor Lawrence. I think he's going to struggle against the Bengals. I feel like that team is committing to the run, especially with Travis Etienne. Um, that's where I'm at with that. And I think Dylan Sampson's going to struggle this week against the Ravens. Next up, J. Molly, Drunk Rick. What are we thinking?
I'm thinking, I think Drunk Rick's team, there's players that I like on this roster, but what I'm scared of is that the running back room, which usually in a fantasy roster is your high floor room. That's where you're going to expect the meat of your points to come from. I'm worried about the room. Caleb did he have negative points, I think? So I'm worried about the room. And then the arguably most inconsistent position, tight end, is the one where he's got the majority of his value invested in. So I'm just worried looking at his team and how volatile that roster construction is compared to what I see over on the other end with like King Henry and PPR Handy. I'm just a little more comfortable with what I see on Jay Molly's side, so I'm going there.
Next up, Tex-Mex Anna's team. Tex-Mex Anna 0-1, surprisingly ended up getting upset. Diego 1-0, surprisingly ending up upsetting Mezcal Papi. Should be a fun matchup. Auto pick is the truth. Should we just start auto picking now? I mean, ended up with Travis Etienne, Brian Thomas. Like that running back court is apparently good with Brees Hall's resurrection. I will say I'm leaning Tex-Mex on just because I do personally think the running back and wide receiver core is the strength of her team, really. And I only see her having a higher floor than Diego. I think he needs to make a couple more moves to make sure that this team has a consistent floor. I see the ceiling now, but that floor is scary to me. And then next up, I'm going to be moving on to cool little Travis. Travis, surprisingly, He is 1-0, but I wasn't impressed by his
to
team.
show it.
Yeah. Culero 0-1 this week. I think it becomes a 1-1. That's why I'm leaning Culero. And really, I'm leaning him because of the fact that Travis, we don't know if Drake London's starting this week. I think Jamar Chase makes a comeback, and I think a really good comeback this week. The part that worries me about Culero is that tight end room with TJ Hawkinson and Mark Andrews. But I think Baker Mayfield does well against the Texans. Barkley goes off against Kansas City, and Jonathan Taylor does Jonathan Taylor things. I just love Culero's team this week over Travis's. Um, Next up is Cool Kid and Mescal. Go ahead, Tony.
The Commission's team is the best team in the league. So it's going to take a Herculean effort from Mescal Poppy to go ahead and pull out this upset. And what I'm worried about on his end is just, I'll point at two spots because the rest of them I could see it putting up a run for his money. But I'm worried about the tight end spot. One, is Bowers healthy? I don't know. Even if he plays, is it in a limited capacity? Maybe that's even worse for you if he plays limited.
Yeah.
Sure, maybe you sub in Njoku, but Njoku was splitting time and touches or catches with Fan. So I'm worried about that position right there. And then on top of that, Golden in one of his wide receiver slots, just the way that Jordan Love was spreading the targets around. I don't think that offense is going to feature a number one receiver. So I'm just concerned if your wide receiver 2 and your tight end are going to be able to keep up with the same guys on the other end for Commish. So I just see that leaning in your favor, and I'm sticking with that pick pretty easy.
And then finally, moving on to rookie Little Chubb. We'll both speak to it just because, I think we see different, are leaning towards who's going to actually win that. I'm leaning Little Chubb. Yeah, Josh Allen might not score 40, but I damn near think he's going to reach that. If they let Old Man Rodgers score 25 fantasy points, I think Josh Allen's going to go off. I think Jalen Hurts is going to go off as well. If they let Justin Herbert have a 24 point week, I think just that floor, that high ass floor that he has, and he only needs a couple of other players to perform. Yes, rookie is stacked with CD, JSN. I love those wide receivers, but I think Little Chubb's QBs is where it wins out. What you got on your own?
I agree. The quarterback room still favors Little Chubb. I don't think we're going to get another giant performance out of Josh Allen. I think it'll be a good one, though. I don't think he'll by any means. I don't think by any means he'll fall short of scoring in the top 6. What I would be worried about if I was on the Chubb side is just that matchup with. I don't think the Buffalo offense and the Cleveland offense are the same. So when I see Baltimore on the other side, I think they're going to struggle worse with Baltimore than Buffalo. So I get Judy, and I'm just not a Ferg guy. So if I'm comparing, I'd rather have Henry, and I'd rather have honestly, if I don't know that I would be playing Fannin. I get what Rookie's doing. I did probably make this pick before I saw Fannin in the flex there, but I just think there's more options that are safer in that flex for him that leans me his way. So I'm going to stick with that pick. But if Allen does it again, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Me ma.
The Human Torch.
The human. All right.
Wait. There was do you know Bobby Lee has a podcast?
Yeah.
That Bad Friends podcast. They had an episode where they have Jack Black, and he does a bunch of those like the Human Torch, but he does Lucy likes literature, and I just remember it. He had some good ones. It was like a big black bug bit a big brown bear, and so I was like, oh, that's actually good. And then Bobby Lee does it, and he's like, the Valencia Hotel is underground next to Burger King, and he just talks about whatever. That
Freaking Tommy Lee, man.
That should.
All right, moving on to the last segment. We're gonna be analyzing a lucky manager's team. We're gonna come at it from a different angle. We're gonna do some analysis, actual having conversations on should this team or teams. We'll see how much time we have left. Become a contender or a rebuilder. I know we took inspiration from Tony's and Savage Dev's conversations about a specific trade and whether that trade was sus or not. We kind of want to get that. I thought that was fun. I thought that was fun to read some insights into what goes down in the private DMs. It was great to put a light on that. And I think we want a little bit more of that. So we're going to start it off spinning the wheel. I'll let Tony bring that up. But in the meantime, for now, we're going to start off with one team or two. And if you guys really like this segment, we will continue down the line as the weeks progress. But all right, spin that wheel.
Excuse the lag. There's no collusion here.
Yeah, in the meantime, everybody get YouTube TV. I'm just kidding. But
that's an interesting team.
Travis, yeah, that really will be an interesting team to analyze.
Yeah, I would have had fun with him or Dab's roster, but I'm glad it's him. So let's see. Travi is sitting right here. So second to last. All right, you see it?
Yeah. So starting off with Travis, I didn't love his draft.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, I did because of all of the youth that he brought in. But I think he took unnecessary risk with like RJ Harvey, with who else was it? Sorry, I need to bring out. And T-Mac. I mean, they're both going to be good, but I just think that those are players that aren't going to really be showing up until later on. I also believe that Egbuka is the truth. I think he's good, but I was worried about his targets personally. But I guess contender, rebuilder. I think he did the rebuilding, right? Like going through his roster. Let's starting at quarterback, for example. Joe Burrow, CJ Stroud, Daniel Jones. We have a super flex league, so quarterbacks are highly valued in this league. I love Joe Burrow. Unfortunately, I think he kind of shot himself in the foot by keeping CJ Stroud. I'm a CJ Stroud truther. I'm a closet Texan fan. And unfortunately, just that O-line did not recover like we thought it would, or that O-line did not improve like we thought it would. Maybe it's just that the Rams defense is that good. I've seen news outlets that are talking about just how good that that defensive line is, and maybe that's what it was, right? Jared Verse and that defensive front is just so good that maybe that is the best defense that the Texans are going to face, and it's only uphill from here. Any 2 cents there when it comes to like the quarterback room?
Yeah, the quarterback room, and it's a little different in Superflex, but still, I treat Superflex leagues like 2 quarterback leagues because I've always said that quarterbacks just score at a more consistent frequency than the rest of the positions, right? So I don't like when teams only have, one quarterback and they have to resort to something else in the flex.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's how I'm approaching this, then what I'm thinking to myself is this a top 4 quarterback room in the league? Meaning your two starting quarterbacks, are they better than everybody except for 4 teams? And that would help me inform whether I thought maybe this guy should try to, sell some picks or something and just get a little bit of a re-roll next year in the draft. I look across the league, I would rather have, of course, the Allen and Hurts room. I would rather
Of
have.
course, yeah.
I think I'd rather have the Daniels and Penix room because you also get Darnold over Jones.
Hmm.
I think I'd rather have the Prescott and Knicks room, which debatable because Joe Burrow could be a top 5 scoring quarterback and he usually is, but you just wonder how far down CJ Stroud goes with that line. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's not a position group that makes me think he should put his chips in to try to win this year.
But I will say, I think it's enough value. I think we have a lot of Houston people here. I mean, a lot of Houston fans. You're talking about Culero. You're talking about um, who else? Mescal Papi, rookie, all Houston boards. Tony himself. Like, I feel like some people in this team would be willing to pay for that, like premium, I believe, and maybe that's something that you think about. Daniel Jones did go off, and maybe someone will be able to pay you for those. Like, let's say, shit, Jared Goff is there. Like, do you roll that dice on Jared Goff, and make that type of move for CD Stroud, Jared Goff, especially since he's in the down year? Go
Do we have insider reporting that Tex Mix is unhappy with Jared Goff?
ahead. We may or may not. I just ended up picking the first name that I saw.
You don't have Goff.
But I mean,
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're
yeah,
saying he was the first quarterback on the list. Okay.
that I saw on the list. Like, I think there's a move to make here, which for me personally, quarterback room wise, I think you're still a contender because I think you still have value there to
Yeah, let's
pick
move then.
someone up. Yeah, good.
What about the rest of the rooms? Because maybe if we think this one's a coin flip,
Correct. Yeah, let's do
if
that.
we're more confident in the rest of these, maybe that'll help us pick a direction.
In terms of the running backs, you got James Cook, James Conner, Tracy, Benson, and Harvey. Benson getting touches. I think he's hoping for that James Conner backup. He's heavily relying on Cook and Connor to kind of repeat last year, which I mean it kind of showed, right? I mean Connor was getting all those touches, James Cook was getting all those touches as well. Tracy, I think he's kind of splitting with Scadibo. So really, if one of those two guys of well, I guess Connor, he's gonna get injured. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I think he backed him up well with Trey Benson, but it's like, is Benson really better than Connor? I don't know. I almost wish that he would have picked up like someone else's backup that has a higher ceiling potentially. But I don't love, but I don't hate that running back room, and I do think it's good enough to get him wins.
I I'm lower than consensus on James Cook. I've always been a subscriber to like touchdown regression, so I don't see him scoring at the same frequency this year. So I don't see a top. Well, to me, Connor could be, but initially, I don't see a top 10 running back on this roster.
Yeah.
So if I don't see a top 10 running back who could put up crooked numbers and win a positional head-to-head against the rest of the league, I'm starting to look back at the quarterback room and be like, are we putting up crooked numbers? Like, are we going to win our head-to-heads, like position by position group? I think I lean with you where like Tracy could be a depreciating asset as the season goes on because Scatterbo gets more involved. Harvey could be the inverse. He could get more involved as the end of the year goes. So if you treat Tracy and Harvey like one running back and Connor and Benson like one running back, because you're probably not playing both Cardinal running backs at the same time. This is a three running back room in a league where we have, what do we have, 2 or 3 flexes?
Yeah.
We have
2 flexes.
2 flexes, right? Flex. Yeah. So we got 2 flexes. Then I'm worried that you only have one running back at a time who could go into flex. So I'm looking at like maybe tank one more time so far.
We'll see with this wide receiver room. That I mean, looking at it, it's Drake London. Oh, go ahead.
Do you think Cook's a keeper? Because maybe if you think there's a team out here who's like, could we even go to maybe like a drunk Rick who's like, do we know that, or somebody, do we know that, or Diego, do we know that there's all other managers are happy with their keepers? Maybe if somebody thinks Cook's a keeper, you can sell Cook for a premium. But anyways, just like
you
an
could.
idea, maybe.
Finally, with the wide receivers, you got London, T-Mac, Buka. I love Buka. Odunze, and then Rashid Shaheed. That's, I mean, non-existent right now. Nothing's really going on in New Orleans. I don't think I want any of the pieces other than like Juwan Johnson. But London, great. Unfortunately, is he out with that AC shoulder sprain? T-Mac, I think, still needs time. If anything, I don't think he needs time. I think he's ready for the NFL. But I think Bryce Young needs to be mentioned again, personally. I think he needs that, like, fire up his ass. Because, honestly, I think they played, who did they end up playing last week?
It's Jacksonville, I think.
Jacksonville. Not too, I don't know much about Jacksonville, but I don't think they're a top 10 defense in the league. So, like, what happened there? You get me? Like, with Bryce Young. So maybe they get more comfortable as the season goes on. I mean, this is a new weapon. He has Leggett, and I mean, it is his year 2 of that offense. So maybe there's still a bit more growing pains to happen. Egbuka, I love him. I don't know what's going to happen when Chris Godwin comes back. I mean, they're interchangeable at this point for me. And then Odunze, maybe last week was an odd week for the Bears. I know DJ Moore was the one that was being peppered. I think, what was his name? No. Someone else.
Zacchaeus.
Yeah, Zacchaeus was getting peppered with targets. Are those Odunze's targets? Like, potentially, but I personally don't think this is a wide receiver room that's championship ready. I can see it getting there, but I just think you also need some moves here. And then Tucker Kraft, hella dependent on Jordan Love, and Love likes to spread the ball around. So, I mean, I think last year he finished as like a top, 5 tight end, if I remember correctly. I mean, I could be off on that.
Let me see if I can get
a tight end. Right now, he's projected tight end 8 in like keep trade cut.
Half PPR, he was 9.
It was 9. A top 10 tight end. I mean, if you don't have the top 5, then I mean, that's not a bad spot to have. But I don't know if Kraft has that high upside that you would want in like the top 3 tight ends. So, really,
I like these 2 positions more
than the running backs and the quarterback.
Than the running back and the quarterback. I would say London. I would say London is potentially one of those guys who could be a top receiver. There's so many. You would probably even go with like top 8 or 10 is really good. I think he could do that. I think Tet could, and I don't think the rest can. So if I think Tet can, I wonder, is it enough to make me? No, I don't think it's enough to make me say push the chips in. Kraft isn't enough to make me say push the chips in, even though I do like him. But tight ends just don't score enough for me to be like, that's a position that's a difference maker unless you have somebody who gets the type of volume that like Bowers does. And even then, Bowers might not get it again this year because of the injury situation. Okay.
Right now, I'm 50-50. Really, I think he could make a move to compete. He can make a move to rebuild. I think that's where I'm at with Travis's team.
If I'm just looking across the pond, could you trade? So you guys know that's our timer. We're gonna go a little over for you, but we're supposed to stop that segment. I feel like you could. I want to say you could move a James Cook, a Tet McMillan, maybe even an Egbuka off of the hype, right? So like could you take one of Yo, could you take? I would love to see this happen. I'm gonna give one trade in favor of like how you could improve, and one in favor of like maybe take away. But could you take a team that maybe is struggling with depth, is comfortable at another position? Let's see who. I mean, Calera just lost Worthy, right? And he's got IU.
Yeah,
This is an injured receiver room. Could you take Egbuka plus CJ and get, I don't know, could you get Caleb off of him? Or I mean, I would love for it to be Baker, right? But I don't know
yeah.
if he would sell Baker. But could you get Baker? If you could get Baker to go with Burrow, all right. Like I'm interested in this team.
Your team
And
starts looking good.
it's an interesting move there because I think you've got extra. It's only a start two wide receiver league, and wide receivers already an inconsistent position. So I'm like, in my mind, why is all the capital invested there? So I would like to see it invested at quarterback instead. The other way, if you want to try to tank away, could you send James Cook to somebody like? Can you send it over here to Savage Daff, who's a known buyer at this time right now? Could you send him James Cook, and could you get back? Could it be? Could you get for James Cook? Could you get? I mean, he was a keeper. Can you get a fourth off of him? Can you get a fourth? And we saw what fourths could be. I mean, it could be Justin Jefferson.
Exactly.
Could you get a fourth off of him, and then maybe like a piece back, like Dylan Sampson and a fourth, because it still gives you an opportunity to like, what if somehow Dylan Sampson's the truth? You still have a way to like have an interesting piece this year, and build Dav into a more solidified contender. I'd be interested in doing some moves like that if I was Travis.
I mean, I think he has a lot of flexibility in terms of like potential trade away or trade for targets with the team that he has.
I wish we would have done my team. I'm a hater, bro.
Haterade.
I wish. I like doing this for his team because it's an interesting team.
Yeah. I mean, I think if y'all really like this, I mean, shit, I really do want to do my team and your team at some point.
Right.
So I think we'll definitely do it.
If they don't like it, if they don't like it, we'll just do ours and then we'll be done with the segment.
Yeah, but I mean, I hope y'all enjoyed that. I mean, I know it was just mainly stuck to one team, but like giving you guys ideas as to like what we might think, like the thought process that we do. I mean, former championship teams, that's like, I don't know, and we find that entertaining. We love like looking at other people's rosters and seeing what moves people could potentially make. But if y'all enjoyed that, please let us know. And if you completely thought it was just like a waste of time focusing on one team, I know it could be annoying, but I mean, it's just maybe y'all can get some tips as to, hey, Travis might be looking at selling James Cooks. Like, should you guys offer some of your picks up, especially for like someone missing some running back depth, for example?
I think the big thing is just that like you're sure that we might not have done your team, but the thought process is still relevant. Like it's still cross-functional thought process because we have a ton of experience with long-form fantasy leagues, right? Like we do Dynasty, we're in this keeper. Like we know it's a different approach to a keeper league than a redraft. And I know everybody was used to redraft, but eventually when everybody gets more comfortable with the thought of what are players worth in terms of draft capital and what players or when is it time to call it quits versus when is it time to put my chips in, I think that's going to be the learning curve for everybody. And we're trying to give you some insight into like how you can take control of those reviews. I guess I don't have the perfect word, but like how you can do that introspection yourself so that you can steer your team the direction you want them to go. You don't have to be stuck with your roster because there's always trades to be done.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of draft pick trading, right? It's like you're not stuck with your roster and stuck with hopefully waivers. You get me? Like this is a different avenue that you can potentially explore. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Any last closing thoughts, Kokomish?
That's all it. Like and subscribe.
All right. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Peace.
Peace.